Hare Krishna, Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shall I read, Mataji?
Yeah, Mataji, please.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadadi Supadandigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadodam Parijana Sahidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaganvidamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Prajarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kribabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dhaine Prabhave Nama माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाध्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगवृद्धाभ सिद्धान्तद्वन्द्वहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसाम्भोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जनप्रिया वैष्णव सर्वभौमा श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतृषे नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशाक्तिकं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो च कल्पदे गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते जयदां सुरदौ पङ्गोर्ममामन्दामदीर्घदि मत्सर्वस्वापदाम्भोजौ राधामदनमोहनौ दिव्याद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पधर्मदा श्रीमद् रत्नाकर सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालीभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमान् रसारसाम्भे वंशे वटातडास्तिदा हर्षान्वेणुस्वनैर्गोपैर्गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु न तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुदे देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा प्रणाम संतोषी
Thanks, Archana Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Radha Raman Prabhu. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Bol. Yeah. So today we have a guest speaker with us today as His Grace Radha Raman Prabhu. I'll just give a brief introduction of Prabhu. Prabhu is the disciple of His Holiness Bhaktivikas Swami Maharaj. When Prabhu was working in US, he has taken initiation. After that, he decided to come back to India for the Shastric studies of himself, his family, and his two sons. And they are doing it wonderfully well. Now Prabhu is serving as in charge of Kirtan team. Also, he serves in the kitchen. He does kitchen seva as well. So we very heartily welcome Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So what is the format, please? Do anything?
Prabhu, if you want, we will share the screen and people will, like all the devotees, they are raising their hands to read the shloka. Okay. Or the translation purport as you like, Prabhu. Purport is not essential, means it's up to you, Prabhu. If you want, they can read.
We will just start with Om Namo Bhagavate Mangala.
Yeah, definitely, Prabhu. Yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevate Bhagavate Nashloke Bhakti. Okay, so we are reading from the third canto, I understand.
Yes, Prabhu. Third canto, 14th chapter,
From
16
text
to 20.
16 to 20. Yeah.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Channa Mataji, will you able to share the screen? Is it possible?
Yes, Mataji, I will do.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Iti tam viramaarichaha kripanam bahubhashinim pratyahanunayan vacha pravrutananga kashmalam. Let me just see the volume.
Is it for everyone? Chandrika Mataji is saying Prabhu's voice is low.
I'm increasing in my side too.
Yes,
Ah,
Mataji,
yeah.
very
So-
well.
Yes, Mataji, quite low.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, better.
Better.
Better,
Okay.
Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay.
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 Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Word for word, iti, thus, tam, unto her, Veera, O hero, Marichaha, the son of Marichi, Kashyapa, Kripanam, unto the poor, Bahubhashinim, too talkative, Pratyaha, replied, Anunayan, pacifying, Vacha, by words, Pravriddha, highly agitated, Ananga, lust, Kashmalam, contaminated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O hero, Vidura, Titi being thus afflicted by the contamination of lust, and therefore poor and talkative, was pacified by the son of Marichi in suitable words. When a man or woman is afflicted by the lust of sex desire, it is to be understood as sinful contamination. Kashyapa was engaged in his spiritual activities, but he did not have sufficient strength to refuse his wife, who was thus afflicted. He could have refused her with strong words expressing impossibility, but he was not as strong, spiritually strong as Vidura. Vidura is addressed here as hero because no one is stronger in self-control than a devotee of the Lord. It appears that Kashyapa was already inclined to have sexual enjoyment with his wife, and because he was not a strong man, he tried to dissuade her only with pacifying words. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutashmi. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutashmi Bhaktivedanta Swami Tanamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is the third canto, and the third canto is a conversation between Vidura and his spiritual teacher, spiritual master, his guru, Maitreya. So the third canto, actually right from the beginning, Parikshit Maharaj asks about Vidura, who has walked out of his house. What did he do? What was his activities? He's a great devotee. We have to learn about such people. Then Parikshit, then Shukadev Goswami in response starts talking about how after he left, he went on his Tirtha Yatra all over. And then he met Uddhava, they had a discussion. And then Maitreya, and then Vidura requests Uddhava to share what he learned from Krishna. And then Uddhava said, Krishna has taught Maitreya, I have to go to Badrikashrama to discuss with Naranarayan Rishi. So Maitreya will give you that guidance, and Maitreya is elder to me, and all those things. And so Vidura starts his conversation with Maitreya. Any talk is usually in our Shastras, whether it's Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavata, it is a conversation between two people. You can never have a conversation alone, right? So Vidura is talking to Maitreya, and he's come to this topic of the relation between Kashyapa and Diti. And he says here, O hero, he begins with, O hero, O Veera. He calls Vidura as Veera, hero. Hero means not in the literally sense of, like a cinema actor hero or, any heroic efforts and all this. Because Vidura is not a warrior and he's not, heroic in his activities, but he's a hero when it comes to dharma. Because if you know, Vidura, he was very strong in dharma. Whatever happened in Mahabharata, anything that happened in Mahabharata, it was only Vidura who spoke up at every instance. For example, the disrobing of Draupadi. Even Bhishma, who's one of the Mahajanas, he didn't speak up, but it was Vidura who spoke up. Vidura never sided with Pandavas or he never sided with Kauravas. He sided with Dharma. And because Pandavas was on the side of Dharma, so naturally they were on Vidura's side. He was on the side of Dharma because, as you know, Vidura is a reincarnation of Yamaraja, Yama. And Yamaraja is the Dharma Raja. And in the whole spiritual, in the whole cosmic manifestation, he is the one who decides the fate of, like a Chief Justice of India. He's like the Chief Justice of this whole material manifestation. So he is a hero. Collier is a hero. Addressing Vidura as hero means Vidura was strong in dharma. Whereas Kashyapa was not. He could have said, Kashyapa was not so strong in his dharma because he is going to succumb to his wife Diti's request. So what happens here is she is agitated by the desire of lust, and so she tries to, entice him and all these things. He could have, so Prabhupada writes here, he could have refused her with strong words, expressing impossibility, but he was not as spiritually strong as Vidura. Because, see, in our it appears that Kashyapa was already inclined and he was not as strong. So in Krishna consciousness, we propose sense control. But when we propose sense control, we don't suggest or recommend sense control from a perspective of stop. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirvana. We say in that verse that we recommend everyone use their senses in the service of Krishna. So when we say use your senses in service of Krishna, it has to be regulated and it has to be correctly used. For example, if one wants to have child, then there is a process how we can use that activity also in Krishna service. You must have already heard of all this by now. There is a process called Garbhadan Samskara, which is a great science. And if you follow that samskara, then we won't have children like animals, and like Prabhupada said, use the word, we should not have children like animals. So we will have more dharmic children who are responsible citizens by following Shastra and using, and living meaningfully and sharing Krishna consciousness and following the principles of dharma. Because he's called a Veera here, Vidura, and in our purports of Shrimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada writes, both urine and semen both come out of the same organ. If one is not a hero like Vidura or a Kshatriya like Arjuna, someone's raised hand, anything? If they are not a hero, then they're basically urine. That's how they're called. Because both urine and semen come from the same organ. So if one is not a hero, like a Krishna conscious devotee, or one is not a Kshatriya warrior, and then they're urine. So that's why we have to, we use our senses in the service of Krishna. Okay, so she is afflicted by lust, and therefore, and because Kashyapa is not as spiritually strong as Vidura, as a devotee, Vidura is addressed as hero, and no one is stronger in self-control than a devotee of the Lord. As I said, a devotee is stronger in self-control because he uses his senses in the service of the Supreme Lord. And so his senses are much stronger. And that's a difference between a devotee and another person, religious person, who may also be wearing a saffron color or something else. A devotee is much stronger in his sense control. So, okay, we'll go next then. Eshate ham vidhasyami priyam bhiro yad ichchasi tasya kamam nakha kuryat siddhi traivargiki yataha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sorry to disturb you.
Yeah.
There are people, they have raised their hands to read shlokas. It's okay, Prabhu, but translate.
Okay. Let them read. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Who is that? Shobha Mataji, translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
You can read the shloka and translation. It's okay.
Shloka, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Right.
Ham vidhasyami priyam pribhuyat ichchasi tasyat kamam nakha kurya siddhistraivargiki yataha. Translation by Yesubhakti Vedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O afflicted one, I shall forthwith gratify whatever desire is dear to you, for who else but you is the source of the three perfections of liberation. Should I read the purport properly or someone else?
You can read, Mataji, no problem.
Sindhu Mataji will read. Purport Mataji, please.
Okay. Hari Bol.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Pranam Shrabaji. Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The three perfections of liberation are religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification. For a conditioned soul, the wife is considered to be the source of liberation because she offers a service to the husband for his ultimate liberation. Conditional material existence is based on sense gratification, and if someone has the good fortune to get a good wife, he is helped by the wife in all respects. If one is disturbed in his conditional life, he becomes more and more entangled in material contamination. A faithful wife is supposed to cooperate with her husband in fulfilling all material desires so that he can then become comfortable and execute spiritual activities for the perfection of life. If, however, the husband is progressive in spiritual advancement, the wife undoubtedly shares in his activities, and thus both the wife and the husband profit in spiritual perfection. It is essential, therefore, that girls as well as boys be trained to discharge spiritual duties so that at the time of cooperation, both will be benefited. The training of the boy is brahmacharya and the training of the girl is chastity. A faithful wife and spiritually trained brahmachari are a good combination for advancement of the human mission.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah, very important purport. This just sets the tone for how an ideal training should be first. Only then we can have an ideal grihastha. An ideal grihastha can give ideal children, and the whole process begins with that. So it all begins with education. That's why even Srila Prabhupada said, books are the basis. See, Prabhupada could have said so many things. Kirtan is the basis. Temple worship is the basis. No, he said books are the basis. That's how he set up the whole thing. So books. So education. And when the education is there, right, beginning from a young age, as we say, Kaumaram Acharit Pragnan, Dharman Bhagavataniha. When this education is set up, then the husband will also be a very noble, spiritually advanced husband, and the wife will also be traditionally chaste woman to support such a husband to practice his Krishna consciousness or spiritual life. But because that education from a brahmacharya and chastity is lacking, there is a lot of disturbance in society. Even when we preach, we have come with a lot of conditioning and a lot of baggage. So there is going to be a lot of baggage on both sides, the husband and the wife's side, as in today's situation. So even in traditionally, I don't know North India, but in South India, during marriages, they do something called Kashi Yatra. I don't know if it happens in different cultures. In our culture, it happens. The whole idea was that The man, he's educated in his brahmacharya and spiritual thing, and he wants to learn advanced shastric studies, advanced stuff. So usually in villages, you get only up to a certain level, and you have to go to Kashi or Varanasi for more advanced training. So in marriages, they do something called Kashi Yatra, or the system was like that. The boy sets out to leave for Kashi, and then a family stops him and says, "No, you please marry my daughter. Whatever you're getting in Kashi, she will make sure you get the same atmosphere here for your advanced studies, and she will fully support you." And now in some cultures, the Kashi Yatra is still followed just as a ritual, but without any real purpose to it. But the real purpose was the husband will go for Kashi. And so actually, according to our Shastra, there is the form, marriage is considered Kamya Karma. There are 3 types of karma. Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita, also in the purport. There is Nitya Karma, there is Naimitika Karma, Kamya Karma. Technical words, but very simple to understand. Nitya Karma means your daily karmas. You have your daily activities, beginning with brushing your teeth in the morning, cleansing yourself, having a bath, and following all your daily activities. And your daily routine, especially if you're of different varnas. If you're a brahmana, you have certain different karmas. If you're a kshatriya, vaishya, you have your different karmas. And then naimitiki karma means condition, which is executed as required conditionally. For example, Shrimad. And then some people do this Amavasya, Tarpana, they do all these things. So that is all conditional karmas, as and when required only. And then there is Kamya Karma, allowed activities. So, I want certain things. For example, I want nowadays I want to go to America or Australia, but usually even in Shastric thing, Vedic life, they have, I want to go to a better place than where I am. So they can go to Svargaloka. So to go to Svargaloka, it was not like, you just go to a US embassy and get a visa. No, you do a certain yagna called Jyotishtoma yagna and all this, and you can go up to this Svargaloka. Some people, they don't have, a child, and then they can do Putra Kameshti yagna. And so these are all allowed activities because you have a desire. And to fulfill that desire, you're using scripture, which is still good. Because if you have a strong material desire and you don't use scripture, then that results in sin. But when you use scripture, it doesn't result in sin, but it purifies you over time because you're using the allowed activity. So similarly, I have a desire that I want to engage with the opposite gender. So for that, then instead of living like dogs and pigs and cats, the allowed activities in scripture for one is marriage. So that is Kamya Karma. However, in Krishna consciousness, we not only see that as just marriage, we see that as an association of a devotee too. The husband has a devotee wife and the wife has a devotee husband. So we see that as association. So usually there is Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama. And the spouse helps. It's a mutual partnership. This one helps in that, and the other also mutually helps. So the wife is considered to be the source of liberation because she helps this husband who has been traditionally educated or educated through the process of Gurukula system to come to a brahmachari system, to help him continue his dharmic activities, continue his spiritual activities and whatever he's learned. So that way, it is a great boon for him. Or else, he has to simply focus on unnecessary things that, could be a distraction from his spiritual activity. So, and traditionally also, the occupation was not like, you go to an IT job or you go to a whatever job. It was more dharmic in every sense. The Brahmanas, their job was yagna, teaching others about yagna, teaching others about Shastra, learning Shastra, yajan, patan, patan. These are the occupation of a Brahmana. So by doing this, he is going to advance and the wife supports him. In the Kshatriya, he also performs his duty of protecting the citizens. He's a protector. He's more than a warrior. He's protector. He protects all living entities. He's doing the administration. He's making sure everyone is happy. Prabhupada says the Kshatriya would take so much responsibility that even if there is no rain, the weather climate is also messed up, then Kshatriya takes responsibility for that. Because by the process of yagna, you would get rain, right? In the 3rd chapter, we read all that annad bhavanti bhutani parjanya anna sambhava, that there's a circle. How we get rain. From rain, we get grains. From grains, we nourish ourselves. When we nourish ourselves, we can perform yagna. And when we perform, how do we perform yagna? We take shelter of the Shastra. And through Shastra, we again perform yagna. And the best yagna in this age is Harinam Sankirtan. So Kshatriyas would make sure they're performing their duty by performing the right yagnas under the guidance of the Brahmanas. By doing so, their occupation becomes spiritual, and the wife helps him in that occupation. And Vaishya, he does Krishi, Goraksha, farming, very noble profession, right? Farming, everyone, whether a Brahmana, Kshatriya, whatever your community be, you need food. Nobody can survive on machine and software. No, we need to have food. And for food, we need to have rain. If there is no rain in the whole world, our paycheck, salary, money, bank account is just of no use if we don't have these basic elements: earth, water, air, fire, ether. So the Vaishya, he does his occupation of cow, taking care of cows. Without cow, you will not get milk. Without cow milk, your brains will never be fertile enough to understand big advanced scriptures and studies. And he takes care of farming. By farming, he's serving. And then the Shudra, he performs his duty to all the other 3 Varanas who are highly spiritually advanced. And by serving them, he also gets spiritually advanced. And in all these cases, the spouse supports them. So this is how the traditional system was. Unfortunately, we don't have such a traditional system anymore. And it is more, everyone's going to work. Living life itself is very difficult. Paying the bills are very challenging. So in Kali Yuga, that is why it is recommended. The best process is you take up to the process of Harinam Sankirtan. Now, but even though the Kali Yuga is so bad, the values of the Shastra are so high, we should always see how we can do our sadhana in such a way we can get more and more closer to the principles of Shastra. How can we get more and more closer to the principles of dharmic living? So we suggest that's why first follow the regulative principles. When we follow the regulative principles, our sinful life reduces. And when our sinful life reduces, then what happens? Yeshan tontagatam papam, as the papa gets reduces. Jananam punya karmanam, our punya karma increases. Tedvandva moha nirmukta, bhajante mam tritakrita. And as that process happens, we will bhajante mam. Mam means Krishna saying this. So worship him, bhajante of him. With dhridavrita, we'll do it with more determination. If we are weak in our sadhana, that means our papa karma is very, very high. And our punya karma is very low. So the more we engage in some form of service, so slowly our papa karma also reduces. So we have to see how, we have to improve our sadhana such that we can come to the shastric way of living in a very dharmic way as far as possible, so that we can perfect our life, as he says here, the 3 perfections, and we can attain more perfection in that way. Okay, next shloka.
Prashanti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Sarvashtaman upadhyaya sashramena kalatravan vyasanarannavam atyeti jalayaner yathadnavam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Divya Mataji, Divya Desai Mataji. Translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As one can cross over the oceans with sea-going vessels, one can cross the dangerous situations of the material ocean by living with a wife. Hare Krishna Mataji, Pita Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shaligram Priya Mataji. Purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ji. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai Ho. There are 4 social orders for cooperation in the endeavor for liberation from material existence. The order of brahmachari or pious student life, household life with a wife, retired life, and the renounced life all depends on the successful advancement on the householder who lives with a wife. This cooperation is essential for the proper functioning of the institution of the 4 social orders and the 4 spiritual orders of life. This Vedic Varnashram system is generally known as the caste system. The man who lives with a wife has a great responsibility in maintaining the members of the other social orders, the brahmacharis, the vanaprasth, and the sannyasis. Except for the grahast or the householders, everyone is supposed to engage in the spiritual advancement of life. And therefore, the brahmachari, the vanaprasth, and the sannyasis have very little time to earn a livelihood. They therefore collect alms from the grahast, and thus they secure the bare necessities of life and cultivate spiritual understanding by helping the others. One moment, I'll just put my hand down. Yeah. By helping the others alms from the grahast, and they secure the bare necessities of life and cultivate the spiritual understanding. By helping the other 3 sections of society cultivate spiritual values, the householder also makes advancement in spiritual life. Ultimately, every member of the society automatically becomes spiritually advanced and easily crosses the ocean of nuisance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, as we were just discussing about the 4 orders, so the 4 orders work in cooperation. There are 4 social orders for cooperation in the endeavor for liberation. So everywhere, the cooperation has to always be there. And without cooperation, nothing's going to work. The orders of brahmacharya, we discussed all these things. Of course, the wives, there's a lot of instructions from Mataji's here. So the wife supports the spouse, husband, for his successful advancement in this whole endeavor. So this was the main Vedic Varnashrama system. Actually, this whole material world is also compared to a samsara dhavan alali dhaloka, like that. Samsara is compared to an ocean. It's a material ocean that we need to cross. And in this whole process, there's cooperation to cross this material ocean. And even if you've seen the deity of Venkateshwara, Balaji, the Tirupati Balaji, his hand, one hand is pointing down and the other hand is up to his knee like this. So the significance of the deity is that with one hand he's saying, you take shelter of my lotus feet. And with the left hand he's saying, then the material ocean will only be knee deep. It will be only to the depth of your knees. So you can easily aramse walk and cross over. It's not going to make you sink. The ocean is always very deep, right? So the whole thing is compared to that. And a devotee who takes shelter of the Lord can cross it very easily. And when they cooperate with each other, then the system becomes much more easier. Of course, if we fight with each other unnecessarily for adharma activities, then the whole process is not going to help us. So we discussed all these points. They collect alms for grass. And the other point here in this one I wanted to make is that, see, it's the brahmacharis, vanaprastha, and sannyasis. These are the people who are full-time engaged in Krishna consciousness. Whereas it is only the householders who are only going out and earning a livelihood. So it is also one of the main duties of the Grahastha Ashrama to support the brahmacharis, the vanaprastha, and the sannyasis, because they are not earning and they need, their roti, kapada, and existence, food, everything. So they are actually now dependent on the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord, through the instrument, the grahastha people, as using them as instruments, help this varnashrama system exist by the grahasthas supporting them with the necessities such as food, money, everything that is required to spread Sanatana Dharma, to spread Krishna consciousness. And not only that, with their association as well, by doing so, the grahasthas also advance naturally. So it is always important that we always invite devotees home, so that when we invite devotees home, the house gets purified, our activities get purified, we cook for them. The whole house gets centered around serving the devotees, Vaishnava Seva, which is very, very important for the Grahastha ashrama. Because sometimes a Grahastha's householder's house is compared to a dark well. It's like highly materialistic, or the neighbors, everything. So there's a lot of negative vibrations around. So by inviting devotees, we create a positive spiritual vibration. So that's one of the main duties of Grahasthas also. Okay, so we can go next.
Vrishbanu Mataji. Vrishbanu Mataji, you can read shloka.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Translation, Mataji.
Shloka, Mataji. Shloka.
Okay. Shloka is difficult for me, Mataji.
Okay, Sindhu Mataji, will you read the shloka? She requested to read the shloka.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Yes.
Then Vrishbanu Mataji, you can read the translation.
Yes.
Text 19.
Yes, Mataji.
Yamahur atmano hiyartam shreyaskhama shamanini yasyam swaduram adyasya yumams charati vishvaraha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. O respectful one, a wife is so helpful that she is called a better half of a man's body because of her sharing in all auspicious activities. A man can move without anxiety, entrusting all responsibilities to his wives. By the Vedic injunction, the wife is
Mataji, Vasudha Mataji will read the.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji and Mataji.
Thanks.
Purport Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. By the Vedic injunction, the wife is accepted as the better half of a man's body because she is supposed to be responsible for discharging half of the duties of the husband. A family man has a responsibility to perform 5 kinds of sacrifices called Panchayagna in order to get relief from all kinds of unavoidable sinful reaction incurred in the course of his affairs. When a man becomes qualitatively like the cats and dogs, he forgets his duties in cultivating spiritual values, and thus he accepts his wife as a sense gratificatory agency. When the wife is accepted as a sense gratificatory agency, personal beauty is the main consideration. And as soon as there is a break in the personal sense gratification, there is disruption or divorce. But when husband and wife aim at spiritual advancement by mutual cooperation, there is no consideration of personal beauty or disruption of so-called love. In the material world, there is no question of love. Marriage is actually a duty performed in mutual cooperation as directed in the authoritative scriptures for spiritual advancement. Therefore, marriage is essential in order to avoid the life of cats and dogs who are not meant for spiritual enlightenment. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Yeah. So we discussed this already, that marriage is an allowed activity from Kamya Karma. And it is because we have that desire to engage our senses. Instead of living like cats and dogs, the scriptures give us a way so that we can spiritually also enlighten. So scriptures are very, very, very compassionate. Actually, it is said, Mata Pita Sahasrebhya Vatsala Dharam Shastram, that the scriptures give us more affection, the affection of 1,000 mothers and fathers. Mata Pita Sahasrebhya Vatsala, Vatsalya, that parental affection, 1,000 times that of a mother and father. We always know our mother and our father always want to wish the best for us within their capacity. They always want the children to be happy. There is no mother and father who ever wants a child to be sad. So that is the affection of Shastra. So it is giving us this way of also engaging our senses, and at the same time, it is also giving us spiritual enlightenment. And also Kashyapa was actually speaking for a long time because he knows this activity of sex life should not be committed in the evening. And he's trying to talk so that somehow the Sandhya Kala, evening, should pass away. So he's talking. So a wife, that is, because a wife actually is referred to as Dharma Patni, and he does not want to engage her in adharma as far as possible. The wife is actually called the better half. In the Shastra, it says, Ardhova Esha Yat Patni. The wife is half of the husband. So it's a mutual, as I said, it's a mutually cooperative ashrama, the grihastha ashrama. So, and a family man has a responsibility, according to our Vedic scriptures, to perform this Pancha Yagna. It also comes in the Bhagavad Gita 3.12 about this Pancha Yagna. There is 5 kinds of yagna, like Pitru Yagna, the spiritual yagna, and all these kinds, because we are always committing some form of sins unknowingly or knowingly. For example, we may walk, we are stamping, some bugs or worms or insects, and we are unknowingly committing some sin. So, or we may be going on a vehicle and we go over some animals, or something or the other. So there's all these 5 kinds of sins that we commit unknowingly. So to eradicate those sins, there is a system called Pancha Yagna. And those sins, usually, as I said before, the more sins we have, then our sadhana becomes very weak. Why? Yeshantwantagatam papam jananam puna. Again, same verse. Bachante mam dhridavrata. So the more sins we reduce, the more our punya karma will increase and we can perform our sadhana far better. Whereas while taking up to the process of bhakti, we can immediately get relief from all sins much quicker than the slower process of all these different kinds of yagna. In Bhagavad Gita, it says, after Tadvidhi Pranipatena, that verse, Bhasmasat Kurute Arjuna, in that verse it says that just like wood put into fire turns into ashes, similarly, when knowledge is received from a bona fide spiritual master like this, like Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and all this, through the right process, then even our sins get turned into ashes. So that's why the process of bhakti, that through Shravanam and Kirtanam, when we do Shravanam and Kirtanam, Shravanam of Bhagavata, then we attain the knowledge and Kirtana by discussing, chanting, hearing and chanting the Mahamantra, or chanting about Bhagavata, discussing with Bhagavata with others. Then the process of our sins become much lesser. Even it comes in Bhagavata and Vishnu Sahasranam and all this. Punya Shravana Kirtana, the word. There is many kinds of punya. Putting a road, helping an orphanage, helping, whatever, handicapped person. All this is also punya. No, but the highest punya, that's all lower levels of punya. The highest punya is punya Shravana Kirtana, hearing and chanting about Krishna consciousness, about Bhagavata and all this. So that gives us the highest punya. So this 5 kinds of yagna, Pancha Yagna, was done to give relief from unavoidable sinful reaction. That means sinful reaction which is not in our control. So, and to do that, to support us in all that, wife was taken just to support us in this whole system. Wife is not seen as an activity, or the husband is not seen as an activity of sense gratification. How can I enjoy? What benefit can I get? What benefit can I get? No, it was always an act of how to engage in Sanatana Dharma. Actually, Chanakya Pandit says that, I'm just searching for that verse here. He says, this one. Vishad api amritam grahyam, amedhyad api kanchanam, nichad apyuttamam jnanam, striratnam dushkuladapi. One would never accept nectar even from poison and gold. So one would never accept nectar from poison or gold from a filthy place. one should accept knowledge even from a low-born person. Nichad api uttamam jnanam, even from a low-born person. As you know, Ramanujacharya, his guru Yamunacharya, was not a Brahmana born or anything. He was a very low-born person, but still he took knowledge from there. Haridas Thakur was a Muslim and he became a devotee. Still we can accept knowledge. So one should accept knowledge even from a low-born person. And a good wife, Stri Ratnam Dushkuladapi, even if she comes from a low family. So there's another verse too, that whatever the qualities of a wife are more important than how she looks and which family she comes from, is she rich and all this. That's the verse I was looking for. Anyway, so the qualities of a wife to help us in our Sanatana Dharma, is to help us in our Krishna consciousness, or even in a husband, is what is the main important thing, more than anyone's external features or external circumstances and all that. So one should never, not only this, but any activity one should never take up in the spirit of sense gratification. Even I keep always making this point, that our preaching or any activity we do, we should never take it from a perspective of sense gratification. I want to become a big person. No, we should always preach without any ambition. Preaching should not be done out of ambition. Preaching should be done out of compassion. Right? So with that activity in mind, we should always, in the spirit of compassion and service to Parampara, we should always engage our activities. Okay. And it also says the Shastras here, the wife is half of the husband. To her, the husband entrusts all his present and future karmas. So that's why it's very important that we engage in this whole Krishna consciousness. Okay, we can go next.
Sudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandasana. Yamashrityendriyat ratim durjayan itarashtamaihi vayam jayemahe lake dasyan durgatatil yata.
Krishnamurti Prabhu, translation. Krishnamurti Prabhu, translation.
Mataji, translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. As a fort, commander very easily conquers invading plunders. By taking shelter of a wife, one can conquer the senses, which are unconquerable in the other social orders. Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Namita Mataji, purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Of the four orders of human society, the student or brahmachari order, the householder or grahastha order, the retired or vanaprastha order, and the renounced or sannyasi order, the householder is on the safe side. The bodily senses are considered plunderers of the fort of the body. The wife is supposed to be the commander of the fort, and therefore, whenever there is an attack of the body by the senses, it is the wife who protects the body from being smashed. The sex demand is inevitable for everyone, but one who has a fixed wife is saved from the onslaught of the sense enemies. A man who possesses a good wife does not create a disturbance in society by corrupting virgin girls. Without a fixed wife, a man becomes a debauchee of the first order and is a nuisance in society, unless he is a trained brahmachari, vanaprastha, or sannyasi. Unless there is rigid and systematic training of the brahmachari by the expert spiritual master, and unless the student is obedient, it is sure that the so-called brahmachari will fall prey to the attack of sex. There are so many instances of fall down, even for great yogis like Vishwamitra. A grahastha is saved, however, because of his faithful wife. Sex life is the cause of material bondage, and therefore it is prohibited in 3 ashramas and is allowed only in the grahastha ashram. The grahastha is responsible for producing first quality brahmacharis, vanaprasthas, and sannyasis. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So great responsibility for the grahasthas, that, as I said, we have to produce devotees, brahmacharis or vanaprasthas or sannyasis. Because if we don't produce, where will they come from? And such people are required for the society, for the uplift of the society, or else the whole society will fall apart. So in this whole thing, again, he's saying how the senses are a network of pathway to hell. we read in that also, Sharira, Vidya, Jal, Jodendreta, Haikal, Jive, Pele, Vishaya, Sagare, Taram. In that also, these senses are a network of to help. But you have given us this wonderful Krishna Prasad by which we can engage our sense and purify our senses. So, here in another commentary I'm reading, this senses are compared to thieves. If the thieves occupy the fort, they plunder the citizens. But how can they conquer the commander of the fort? The fort is material enjoyment, which destroys fallen brahmacharis and others, but not the householders. The householders do not create severe karmas since they regulate their enjoyment by the rule of scripture. So we have seen the same point again and again, that we have to use our senses because here Diti did not utilize the correct scripture, the correct process. They ended up getting demons such as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Even though Kashyapa Muni was aware of this, they were overcome by sense gratification, overcome by the desire for sex. Even Vishwamitra Muni, it has been said, great yogis like Vishwamitra is saved. Not saved, also fell down. That is the biggest challenge in the renounce ashram, the ashram of sannyas, in the ashram of brahmachari. It is a big, because Maya is very, very strong. Maya is very attractive. How much ever you study, Devi Esha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratyaya, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, this Maya, how much ever you study, can be very, 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 very difficult to overcome. Mamevaye prapadyante maya me tantarantite. But only one who surrenders unto me, Krishna says, can easily overcome. We have seen many instances in history where Ravana, he engaged, he and his brother Vibhishana. Vibhishana was surrendered to Krishna, to Rama, so he easily overcame Maya. Whereas Rama was attracted by money, he was attracted by Sita, he was attracted by all things, and he could not. Similarly, we'll see next in Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was a great demon. Was a great demon. The demons of those days were much more demoniac than what they are today. What to speak about killing people here? Hiranyakashipu was going even to upper planets and killing people. And he said, whoever does yagna, I will send you to lower planets. Usually, whenever you do yagna, you have to go to higher planets. Whereas Hiranyakashipu had set up a system, if you do yagna for Vishnu, I will send you to jail and lower planets. And if you do yagna to me, I'll give you higher positions, higher planets. So he had made the whole system ulta. So this is such a great demon. But because he had a wife Kayadu, and he was saved because of the dharma of his wife, Kayadu, because of her pious activity, because of her piety and chastity, they had a son, Prahalada. And because of such a son, it says, right, the Grahastha is responsible for producing first class brahmachari. Because of such a son, Prahalada, Hiranyakashipu got delivered. And that's what Prahalada says, right? My father, unfortunately, he was a demon and he engaged in all kinds of bad activities. Please protect him. And Lord Vishnu says, I will, not only him, 7 generations up and 7 generations down, because of your devotion, have been taken care. So it is a great need that Grahasthas provide devotees to the society. For that, the Grahasthas, as much as possible, should be very sincere devotees under the guidance of the Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. And as much as possible, Grahastha is the only channel to engage in sense gratification. You don't see Sannyasis or Brahmacharis watching TV or World Cup cricket match or something like that. They're not engaged in or going to a cinema theater or all these things. They're 100% dedicated to Krishna consciousness. There's only Grahasthas have that license where they live in their own house, they can watch TV, they can engage in sense gratification. So as much as possible, if the Grahasthas also take up to a very highly Krishna conscious life, then we can also provide to the society first class Prahaladas, first class devotees, Brahmacharis, Vanaprasthas, and Sannyasis. So it is a great responsibility, not only for the wife, even though here, because the topic is Diti, who has been agitated. So the whole lesson moral in this whole section is how the wife should not become a diti, but how she should become aditi, how she should become dharmic. As you know, Kashyapa had two wives. One is diti and one is aditi. From aditi, he had all the demigods, beginning with sun, Aditya, that's why it's called the sun, Aditi, and then even Vamanadev. Vamanadev also got the same father. So Vamanadev and Hiranyakshipu are almost like co-brothers. Vamana is born to Aditi, and from Diti, all the Daityas came, all the demons came. So we don't want to contribute to the Daityas. We want to contribute to the Aditis, the Adityas. We want to contribute noble souls. We want to contribute devotee children as far as possible. So the whole lesson is that a wife should not become diti, but at the same time, a husband also should be strong, such that we can have good Krishna conscious societies. Okay, so I think this is where I have to conclude today. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Anything you would like to ask, share?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nice class, and thank you so much for accepting this invitation in such a short notice. Yesterday only you came to know that you have to give the class. So thanks. It was full of practical lessons, Prabhu. The best point was that devotees provide, the grahasthas provide devotees. So that is what we should also keep in mind. So yeah, devotees, if you have any question or any comment, realization.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Pranams Prabhu. Such a wonderful session. And one second. Prabhu, I have a doubt. Can you explain Panchmaha Yajnas once again? I just missed it, Prabhu.
Mataji, traditionally, back in the day, there was this system of offering yagna to the pitras, the spiritual yagna to the devatas. So like that, there's 5 kinds of yagnas to the the Brahma Yagna, Pitru Yagna, Deva Yagna, Bhuta Yagna, Atiti Yagna. There was 5 kinds of Pancha Mahayagnas that was offered. And all these yagnas were offered because unknowingly there is the word used in the purport also you can see, there is unavoidable sins that we commit. Sometimes unknowingly we may stamp over some insect which has never done anything to us. Or, so like that we may commit sins unknowingly. So to get purified of those sins, there was this Pancha Mahayagnas done traditionally. But that system is almost gone now. So we just engage in bhakti because bhakti is very potent to also purify us from sins. As long as we don't commit that sin again purposely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. I understood.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just a small doubt. You had mentioned some example, no, Prabhuji, like fire, the wood is put in the fire. Like that, I just left that point. Like, can I just explain?
Yeah, it's in Bhagavad Gita, 4th verse, 4th chapter, right after that verse of Tadvidhi Pranipatena, that section. That Tadvidhi Pranipatena means you should approach a guru and learn from him. And then the results of learning such knowledge from a guru is given. And that comes in text 37. Yathai dhamsi samsiddho agnihi bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. Jnana agni sarva karma agni bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. Just like you put wood into fire becomes ashes. Similarly, when you get this knowledge from the spiritual master, transcendental knowledge, Jnana Agni, the fire of knowledge, that fire of knowledge burns the karmas into ashes. Sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. So all our papa karmas and various karmas will get purified. So just to ashes. So that's the effect of this knowledge of bhakti.
Hare Krishna.
Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Prabhuji, today's realization I want to express before you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
What you have told us, it is a great opportunity to hear for me, especially in the Grihastha life. The role of this wife, what you have explained is most important in all the Grihasthas life. So that if the grace is there, then only we will get such type of wives also. If not, that is a great curse on that family itself. Is it not, Prabhuji? So what your kind self has told in the Grihastha's life, if the wife admits and accepts, if she follow the regulations correctly, automatically the house and the society will be in the good platform. So I I am very grateful to you, Prabhuji. As per Shastras, you have enlightened me. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. And it's a equally important role for the husband also to be educated in Shastra and be a noble husband. So.
Thank you, Krishnamurti Prabhu. Yeah, Chintamani Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, my question is related to Varnashrama Dharma. I will try to see if I can ask you appropriately and if you can understand. The question is, of course, Krishna brings everything, all the arrangements he does for the society, like Varnashram, Sannyasa, Brahmachari. The three sections are not dependent on Grihastha, right? In the Grihastha also, only father goes for work and he has to take care of children, wives, and at the same time, he has to support other ashram. So there's a lot of dependency on the one particular person. So on the financial point of view, of course, Krishna makes the makes arrangement, but there is too much of burden. I feel that is the first question. Second one, Prabhuji, in society we see the government decide, how many doctors we require to serve a particular community. The ratio they decide, right? Similarly, the police department decide how many police stations we have to, accommodate the population. So similarly, is there any ratio decided in the scripture, like how many brahmacharis should be there, how many sannyasis should be there, or how many vanaprasthas should be there? Is there any mechanism, calculations that we can think of? Otherwise, I see too much of burden to a grihastha, and that's why brahmachari don't continue the brahmacharya, vanaprastha don't continue the vanaprastha, sannyasi don't do the sannyasi because they are not being properly supported. So everyone going for work and everyone becoming Sudra. So just wanted to understand more on this.
Prabhu, there is no quantitative thing, and there is actually no burden on the Grihastha also. Krishna says in the Isha Upanishad and other places that Isha Vasham Idam Sarvam and Om Purna Mada Purna Vidam. Everything is complete. There is no requirement of, actually I want to read one purport of Prabhupada on that only. There is no shortage of anything. See, just like animals are not working very hard, animals are fed, whatever it is. They're not dying of poverty and all these things. So everything is actually provided in the society. It is just for the Grihastha's benefit that the Supreme Lord has given this opportunity to serve the Grihastha, the Brahmacharya Ashrama, the Vanaprastha Ashrama, and the Sannyasi Ashrama. It is not taken as a burden, but it is taken as an opportunity for purification. Because we have got this human life, and the only purpose of human life is to purify ourselves to attain spiritual perfection. There is no other thing. So if we don't do this, there is no other way. So it is not a burden, it is a great opportunity. So in that spirit, we have to engage. And it is our duty. We have a duty also as a Grihastha, and it's not like it's a burden. The Supreme Lord makes the arrangement for you to provide to all the other ashramas. So if you see it as a burden, then I would recommend don't. See it as an opportunity, pray to the Lord, and He will give you all the facility for it. Because He's the one giving water. Is there any burden on you to give water? Are you growing the food? No, you're not. The water, I told in the class, your paycheck, your bank account is of no value if there's not a single drop of water today. If there's no oxygen. All this is given by the Supreme Lord. Everything else is just a transformation of earth, water, air, fire. Nothing is created by us. So we are just working in that system to support the whole system. That's all. It's not like we're creating something or anything. We're working through the whole process.
So,
Okay,
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, when we say, this all ashram should be cooperating together. So, what is the meaning of cooperation? Of course, I believe one ashram has to support another one. Grihastha will be supporting financially, right? So that is expected, right? So if that is not fulfilled, people are not following the varnashram dharma, brahmacharya and sannyasa. That challenge we are facing, right?
Prabhu, when Prabhupada went abroad, he was not dependent on any grahasthas. He was distributing books and Krishna was giving him money by his book distribution. So if you feel you are the one at the center supporting the whole ashrama, it's not like that. It is an opportunity for you. If you don't give also to the sannyasis, they can, Supreme Lord will maintain them somehow. Traditionally, people were growing grains, people were growing milk, so they would give to their gurus all these things as a reciprocation for the transcendental knowledge that is given. If you think, I am the one who is supporting these ashramas, because of me it is there, then that is the wrong concept. Prabhupada, just by book distribution, why in ISKCON, just by book distribution, they built a whole ISKCON Tirupati temple. So it is not like, we are the one running the whole show. No, it is them who is running, and we are getting an opportunity to serve them because our money has to be purified. We are getting money from various sources. We are getting money from illegal means or legal means or whatever. Even if we are working, that money is not, don't think is engaged only in legal ways. For example, if you work for some company, IT company, they're using that, they're engaging you in projects of cigarette companies, they're engaging you in projects of SAP implementation and alcohol company, they're engaging you in IT projects for cow slaughter companies. All that is adharmic process of earning money. So the only way to purify that is by engaging that money in Krishna's service, by giving it to all these great devotees. You have to, so it's an opportunity, as I said, for purification. Whether you give or not, the Supreme, there, surrender to the Supreme Lord. And Krishna says He will take care of them. If you don't give, He says, Paritranaya sadhu, I will come to protect my sadhus and kill the demons. He will personally take care. So it is an opportunity for the Grahastha ashram to support that ashram. We are not maintaining them. Sometimes we say, I'm maintaining cow. No, the cow is actually maintaining us because of the cow milk, because of the cow dung, because of the cow's product. We are able to have a better life. So whatever the Supreme Lord gives is only maintaining us. We are just an instrument in the whole process. Okay, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Cow, give an example of cow is really suitable to the answer. Yeah. Thank you.
Shubha Mataji, is there a question or you have raised your hand for reading? For reading, right?
Hare Krishna, I forgot to down the. Thanks a lot. Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhu. So we'll end the session here. So we end actually by doing Vaishnava Pranam Mantra. So we'll do that and then end. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhucheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
अनंत कोटि वृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Shall I end the session, Prabhu?
Yeah.
One second.
Yeah. Prabhu is there. Ashish Prabhu wants to. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Radharaman Prabhuji can go. We just want to have a talk with the audience.
Okay.
Oh, I can leave live.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Audible? Is it audible?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, please raise your hand. If you have already raised your hands, lower down the hands. And please raise your hands if you are all working devotees. If you are working devotees, please raise your hands. How many rains? 4, 5, 5, 5 out of 36. 6.
They were
7.
48 earlier. I mean, 43.
Yeah. 7 hands are raised. That means 7 are working, correct? Yes. Anyone else? Only 7 out of like 36. Those who are present now. 36. I'm not able to see properly. 36. Out of 36, 7. So Prabhuji and Mataji. So 36 minus 7. So 31 are not working. Correct? Yes.
Yes,
Say
Prabhuji.
yes or no.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So
Yes,
those who are working, probably they might be traveling, they might be in the office. So it makes sense if they are not opening the videos. But others, please open the videos, because it is totally impersonified, and the speaker is speaking, only speaker and the host and sometimes co-host. Only these 3 videos are open. I see Shobha Mani, for most of the time her videos are also on. What happens when the Bhagavatam is going on? You have to sit and hear. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. If you are brooming your house, if you are working in the kitchen, and if you are doing mala and then hearing Bhagavatam, it is of no use. Then it is better that not to come in the class only, because ultimately it is an offense to Bhagavatam itself. Correct. Okay. When you are there in the kitchen, that is okay. Kitchen, that makes sense, because you must be making bhoga or something. But that 9:30 is the time for most of us. 9:30 is the time. That is the time when most of you may not be in the kitchen. So if you are traveling, if you are in the office, then okay, please put off the video. No problem in this, because these guest speakers, those speakers who are used to you, they are okay. But then the guest speakers who are coming, no, they will not like it. They won't like it. Next time it will be very difficult for us to request them. Are you understanding, Mataji's, Prabhuji's?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
It is good for us only. We are very grateful that all of you are coming. All 41, 43. Today 43 was the number. We're very grateful to you. But then if you are just keeping the phone aside and video is off, and we don't know what you are doing, you are not in front of the camera. That is for sure. So that kind of hearing will not have any use. What you will hear, and then if you'll think that I'll go back to YouTube and there I'll hear, none of you may be doing that, because you won't get the time. So 9:30 to 10:30, 9:30 to 10:30, specifically, exclusively, you just devote for this Bhagavatam only. Then only it will have some action. Otherwise, there won't be any transformation. So you just go on like this. Do you understand? Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji. Yes,
Prabhuji. Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So whatever is going in the background, just keep video on. Keep the video. Speak. They are also in. Otherwise, they are just talking balls. All the videos of only Narayani Mata video will on. So if I would be the speaker, I want to see the people. किसको मैं देख रहा हूँ? I want to see someone. Na? Okay, only her videos are on, and Shobha Mataji sometimes, Suma Mataji sometimes. It's not good. Actually, it doesn't give a good picture. The whole ICF's image, no, it won't give a good picture. You see that when you are speaker, do you want all these black spots coming? Huh? Do you want like this? Can you take the classes from tomorrow like this? Huh? Very tough. And I don't know how they are speaking. So really hats off to the speakers. They are able to speak like this. They are able to speak like this. Okay, so already we are not in the temple where you can see the faces of everyone. You can see who is understanding, who is not understanding. Okay, that personalization class, that is not there. But in Zoom, there are so many pros and cons. The pros is you can sit anywhere, you can do anything and hear. But then 9:30 to 10:30, 10:45 is exclusively you give time to this only. Otherwise, it is just a waste of time. I'm telling you, it is a waste of time only. Two things we cannot do at one go. You cannot cook and you cannot hear. दोनों चीज नहीं होने वाला. Some of you might be chanting also. I don't know. वो ऐसा भी होता होगा. Videos are on, like videos are off, audios are on, and then they may be chanting. Who knows? Yesterday, Prabhuji said, "Na, the videos are off. We don't know what they are doing." Correct. Are you feeling bad?
No, no,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
No, no, Prabhu.
So from tomorrow, videos will be on, at least for this Bhagavatam. I'm not saying all Zoom classes, at least for Bhagavatam. It makes sense for the speakers, speakers, they have worked hard. They have prepared. ऐसे ही आके नहीं बोल रहे हैं. They have worked hard for this. Or when they are coming to Zoom sessions, all black spots, if you show them, next time they will not come. Same thing you do with the brahmacharis also. So that means, we are not paying respect to the speaker. That is a clear message. Clear message. Okay, so please do that. Otherwise, third canto will be the last canto for us. I'm not going to carry forward. At least I'll be off. Whether Narayani Mataji want to continue, she will do that. I'll be off.
No, Prabhu.
I won't manage.
No,
I won't
no,
manage
Prabhuji,
that.
don't do that. Don't do that, Prabhuji.
Okay. So if you are working, we have given. If you are working, no problem. You keep the videos off. If you are traveling, that is also okay. Okay, but when your hands are raised for sloka recitation, for translation, that means your video should also be on, na? From tomorrow, Mataji, jo translation bol rahe hain, narration and all that, you give to only those whose videos are on.
Yeah,
Okay,
Prabhu, I'll do that.
We'll have to take some hard step.
Even,
Otherwise,
yeah,
ऐसे
I am
चलता
also
रहेगा.
requesting them, please switch on
No,
your
no,
videos.
no
please
request,
turn on
no
your...
request. You'll have to order them now.
Yeah, so Prabhu is very strict. I'm not that strict. But yes, yeah, Prabhu, I'll do that.
They see, they are taking shelter of ICF. That means they are disciples of the speakers. Okay, at least for that session, they are your students, and teacher can always shout at students. Okay, do you all agree with this? From tomorrow, videos will be on. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Please do that.
Yes,
Okay,
Prabhuji.
please do that. Thank you so much. Sorry, I was very harsh.
No,
No, no,
Prabhuji.
thank you, Prabhu.
No, it's okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you. So, Hare Krishna. Now we will meet with switched on videos on Monday morning, 9:30. So, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna to everyone. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Mataji Dandavat Pranam.
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 Okay, I'm ending the meeting. Hari Bol. Krishnamurti Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Krishnamurti Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhu, I have asked, there is no children's class going on right now, but whenever we will plan, we will let you know.
Please, Mataji, please repeat.
Children's class, Prabhu, you remember in
yes,
Chaitanya
yes.
Charitamrita we were discussing, yeah. So that is not going on in ICF right now. Whenever it will start, I will let you know, Prabhu.
Please, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I am grateful to you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam. Mataji,